YouTube! Have you ever heard of a man who could look at rubble and measure the wind? A man who learned about tornadoes by studying atomic bombs, and whose work not only changed meteorology, but it saved lives. This is the story of Dr. Ted Fujita, the genius behind the tornado scale that bears his name, known to many simply as Mr. Tornado. And before you make fun of me for saying Fujita, I know it's Fujita or whatever, but it's the hillbilly accent, so you guys are going to have to give me a break, okay? Ted was born on October 23rd, 1920, in a small village in Japan. He grew up in a modest household. His father was a coal miner, and a young Ted already showed an early obsession with how things worked. He built his own microscopes, toyed with mechanical gadgets, and had a special fascination with storms already. This natural curiosity would soon grow into a scientific obsession. He graduated from, I hope I don't butcher this, okay? Kyushu Institute of Technology? I hope I said that correctly. But he graduated from here in 1943 with an engineering degree. This was just as World War II was nearing its destructive climax. In 1945, after the bombing of Nagasaki, the Japanese government sent in researchers to analyze the aftermath. And among them was a young Ted Fujita. What he found was horrifying. Entire blocks were flattened, trees scorched, debris tossed in bizarre patterns. But to Fujita, this was all data. He sketched how the blast radius, studied how the walls had collapsed, and noted how energy had been dispersed outward from ground zero. These insights would stick with him, and 2 decades later, they had become crucial to understanding tornado damage. After earning his PhD in meteorology in 1953, Fujita received an invitation from Dr. Horst Byers to join the University of Chicago. He packed his bags and moved to the U.S., where he would spend the rest of his life. He also Americanized his name to Ted and quickly made a reputation as, well, a bit of an oddball genius. Colleagues described him as intensely focused, with a thick accent and a habit of sleeping only a few hours a night, often in his own office. Pure dedication. But when storms hit, he'd come to life. Just like me, tornadoes terrified and fascinated Fujita. At the time, meteorology was still guessing when it came to tornadic wind speeds. So when a twister hit, Fujita would take to the skies. He pioneered aerial damage surveys, flying over tornado paths to hand map the destruction below. He saw patterns no one had noticed. Strange swirl marks in the fields, rows of debris ripped in different directions. This led him to identifying something groundbreaking. Suction vortices, ultra-powerful mini tornadoes within the main funnel. They explained why damage could vary so widely over a short distance. In 1971, Fujita unveiled what would become his most famous creation, the Fujita scale, or the F scale, rating tornadoes by the damage they cause. F0 to F5, from light roof damage to homes being wiped off their foundations. Before this, tornadoes were described vaguely strong or violent. Now, there was a standard. Fujita didn't just guess the wind speeds. He calculated them based on debris, construction, and even soil scouring. His system became a global standard.
Scientists, because we do research on tornadoes, and the main reason why we are here is to find out what tornado did. And in case of future tornadoes, what people should do, that's the kind of thing we want to find out. Right after the storm, this is a great post, my student and I flew over to take a picture of the whole area. And this is one of the pictures which shows that I think it's a grain elevator up here. Could you tell me how big is this and how it happened?
It's still used today in modified form as the enhanced Fujita scale. But Fujita was not done. He noticed not all wind damage was caused by tornadoes. After several mysterious plane crashes, he identified something new. Downburst columns of air crashing down from thunderstorms, creating outward blasts of wind on impact. Worse were microbursts, which struck like invisible tornadoes and had killed passengers mid-flight. Thanks to his research, especially after the crash of Delta Flight 191, airports began installing Doppler radar systems to detect wind shear. Ted Fujita literally helped make flying safer.
It was the deadliest single plane crash in U.S. history to that day. The ensuing National Transportation Safety Board report cited normal thunderstorm activity at the time of the accident, suggesting pilot error was the cause of the crash. Yet still, questions remained. Eastern Airlines asked Fujita to conduct an independent study.
They said, what happened? This plane fell out of the sky, it crashed, and we don't know why. They came to Ted and said, you're the expert, you're the severe storm expert, help us.
Fujita went to work. He meticulously pieced together satellite imagery, radar echoes, and synoptic data. He reviewed black box recorders and interviewed pilots of the 14 planes that approached runway 22L at JFK Airport that tragic afternoon. Then, he made a leap of imagination. Tapping into his years of detailed analysis of destruction, he connected the crash to Nagasaki and the super outbreak.
While he was flying over the super outbreak, he saw an area where the trees were felled in all directions in a starburst pattern. And it was certainly something similar to what he saw in Nagasaki. That led him to theorize that there was basically an explosion of air that came out of a thundercloud and caused this plane to crash.
He thought that it was a very powerful downdraft that he later termed a microburst that came down, struck, spread out, caused the aircraft to lose lift and just come crashing down. And it was so small scale and short-lived that by the time the next aircraft came, it was gone.
Fujita argued that his new microburst theory explained why other airplanes around the country were mysteriously crashing. His colleagues thought that he had gone too far.
Then came April 3rd through 4th of 1974, the super outbreak. 148 tornadoes across 13 states in 24 hours. A catastrophe. Fujita would spring into action, surveying damage by air and ground. His findings redefined the understanding of a tornado outbreak. He mapped out tornado families, revealed damaged fingerprints, and gave the world a better way to analyze storms. No one had ever studied an outbreak this comprehensively. Ted Fujita worked at the University of Chicago until the end of his life. He never stopped researching, often sketching storms by hand, mapping data with rulers and pencils. He didn't chase storms with cameras. He chased patterns, physics, and the truth. Fujita died of cancer on November 19th of 1998 at the age of 78. But his legacy is everywhere. Ted Fujita turned storm wreckage into science. He measured chaos, he mapped the unseeable, and he taught us that even nature's most violent forces leave behind a story, if you know how to read it. Today, when you hear a tornado rated EF3 or EF5, remember the quiet Japanese-American genius who gave us the language to understand it. Dr. Ted Fujita, Mr. Tornado.